So for the hands-on projects, you need to have a computer that you can install software on. And it's possible that you don't have that. Suppose you don't have a computer at all, or all you have is like an iPad, or you're using a shared machine in a library where you don't have administrator rights or anything. If that's the case, then go down here and get a cloud machine. You can make a cloud machine on Azure or on Google Cloud. If you give them a credit card, they'll each give you a bunch of free service, like $200 or $300 of free service. And by next week, I should have Google Cloud coupons that give you $50 of free service if you don't have a credit card or if you've already used up the free trial. Although Google gives you $300 for free, and every time you want more, you can just make a new Gmail account and use the same credit card again. I've done it like 12 times. So they don't seem to care. But anyway, if you do that, make sure you cancel it before they bill you. They will try to bill you when your time runs out, and some students have been charged a few bucks, and then they have to go complain and get the money back, or refuse to pay, which you can do, but it's sort of a hassle. Anyway, this will let you have a server in the cloud where you have administrator rights and you can install things. You can do things that way if you don't have access to any local machine at all, or if you just prefer not to install software on your local machine. But Splunk is safe. It's not malware. You can just install it right on your local machine. I think you can even install it directly on the Mac if you want to. Well, what I'm going to do is put it on Windows. So let's give that a shot. Here's my Windows machine. Now I'm at a Mac M1, so it's running on an ARM processor. So this is Windows 11 running on ARM. But you can run Intel-based software on Windows on ARM. It apparently has some internal translation feature, so it works, which is nice. So I'm just going to open my web page here. Okay. Well, all right, what's going on? Why is this? Let's see. There we go. Shamsclass.info. Can't find that site. Well, that's rude. Something's wrong with the networking. Oh, the networking is disconnected, I think. Let's go to NAT and see if it connects. Let's try a command line. This, by the way, is the #1 problem students have with virtual machines. They can't get the networking working. It happens a lot. So here's the command prompt. All right, ipconfig. Looks good, ping Google. Looks like I'm on the internet now. Okay, so now quit telling me you can't open my web page. There we go. All right. So going to NAT seemed to fix it, which is pretty common. All right, so it's CNET 50 projects, and we're going to do module 3 and 4, which is here. Okay, so we need to get Splunk. Now, I just made a copy of Splunk on my web page just to make it easy. So if I click that, that'll download Splunk for Windows. And here's Mac and here's Linux. So looks like 1 minute. All right. This is not the latest version, but it's pretty close. It's version 9.03, and it's up to 9.1 or 9.2. It's not up to 10, so there's no significant difference between the features of this and the latest version. You can log into Splunk and make an account and download it from there, but that's a lot of hassle. I just didn't want to bother. I just archived a copy for my students to use. It's another thing. The people at Splunk might yell at me, but they haven't, so I guess they don't care. There's a lot of websites that do this. They archive old versions of things. And as long as they don't yell at you, I guess they don't care. And this is the MSI, which is a Microsoft installer file, which is the best kind of installer for Windows. That will adjust all the features, and it will also be so you can have it in the control panel so you can repair it and remove it easily. If you install things from like an EXE, you don't get that. So when you have more professional software, it gives you an MSI file.
Is MSI proprietary?
No. You just get
it's just what a more savvy engineer would choose as a file format.
Yeah, well, what you get them all from Windows. You download a Microsoft development kit,
right,
and then you make your software with that, and it automatically creates these files.
And you can select a file format when you're done writing your code.
Yeah, and what happens is you get. I haven't done it. I know, but the MSI is the more modern way. Some people make EXE files.
Well, it's like
and that's the old
HTML,
way.
HTML and HTML or
Right.
SHTML. It's
That's right.
Different file format.
Yeah, yeah. So MSI is done by somebody who used the modern technique. I mention it because open source products usually don't install well on Windows, because Microsoft keeps changing the rules,
Right.
and the open source developers usually don't pay enough attention to stay up with the current rules. So they'll have software designed for like Windows XP or Windows 95 that doesn't really obey the rules for Windows 10 or 11. This is very common. Things like Python give you trouble when you install them. And Splunk, however, is a commercial product, but a few years ago they were the 4th highest paying company in America. They really, and people I know that work there are sort of embarrassed at how luxurious it is. They're rolling in the dough. Like I say, all the big companies pay them a lot of money to use this product, so they give you Cadillac treatment. They make it good, they make it efficient, they keep it professional. They're not small time, open source. They're making something for the big companies that want everything good. It's very nice that they give us a good free version to practice with. Most people don't do that. The only smart people do, like Cisco. They give you good versions to use in the classroom. Then they become the standard. Everybody learns it in school. But most companies, they're like Palo Alto, their salesmen get paid on commission, so they won't even talk to you unless you're a big company that's going to buy it. So anyway, all right, so there's my installer. So I run that. It's just like installing any other software. Double click it. And it should, start installing and ask me to escalate to administrator and go through the usual install process. Yep, there we go. Check this box to accept the license agreement. Next. I have to choose a username and password to log in. I'm going to use student and password. Whatever you put here, try to remember it. If you forget it, you can fix it with like command line commands later. But this is probably the #1 tech support issue. I forgot the password. Of course, the simplest answer, just remove it and reinstall it. But there is like a Splunk command line command to reset the password you could do too. All right, this thing should, yep, there it goes, escalating privileges to administrator. Now it's going to install stuff, and there it goes.
So for class, I mean, obviously we can do this and have, the software on our machines.
Yeah.
But to do projects, we can just do it through the browser, no?
Yeah, well, the Splunk projects, you're going to use this one you installed. You're going to add data. The boss of the SOC, you're going to use the server in the cloud that I set up. You don't have to install anything.
Got it. Okay.
I'm going to demonstrate both of those today, because this is the official Splunk training that teaches you the standard Splunk certification stuff, which is okay, but kind of boring, although I was a database administrator, so maybe it's not as boring if you don't know databases. It is very standard database stuff. If you already know databases, this is just pretty obvious. But the boss of the SOC is new and more interesting. Yeah.
So basically we're going to have 2 sets of assignments. One that we're using Splunk locally on our machine.
Yeah.
And then one where we're using this boss of the SOC fake company.
Yeah.
Using their browser-based data.
That's right. And you can do either or both. As long as you get up to like 275 points, you get an A. Most students seem to follow the official Splunk stuff, which surprised me. But like I say, they probably haven't been a database administrator. Because I've been one, this stuff is pretty dull to me. But if you've never done databases, then you probably want to do the standard project to learn how databases work. Yeah.
So I guess I should have asked this earlier when we were talking about how the class is structured, but are we just allowed to just kind of plow through projects at our own pace?
Absolutely.
And you're not going to release modules on Canvas?
No, I hate that.
When we should have stuff in?
No,
So
I'm taking courses that do that. I hate that. Everything's available from the start.
So theoretically, we could either do all the work in advance or wait till the last week, which I obviously thought ideal.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't, especially in a 1-unit course, I don't care about the deadlines or anything. I recommend starting early though, because often you'll have trouble.
Yeah.
And you'll wish you could come get help.
Good.
Yeah.
Is there a date for the final though?
There is.
Okay.
And I'm not allowed to extend work beyond that.
Right. You mentioned
So
that.
yeah. So you'll find here. Here's the schedule. We meet just for the first few weeks. And the final, here's the last week, 215 to 223. So you have to take the final during that week if you're going to take it. And then I have to turn in the grades like a couple days after that.
So it's available now, though?
I think the final only becomes available last week, but everything else is available.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why I wanted to get clear.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
I know some people have limits on the amount of time you have to take the final and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's up with you? Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to install the
Yeah.
app. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, that's downloading something. 26 hours. Wow, that's rude.
It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, I'd just let it go. It's probably lying.
It took like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, this one here. By the way, if you put it on Windows on a Mac, like I did, then it does pop up failure 3 times, and you just ignore it. That means some part of it is not happy with my ARM processor, but it doesn't seem to be an important part. And by the way, if you look in the Windows error log, you'll find out every Windows machine has hundreds of errors. Windows has thousands of features, and you're not using them all. No Windows machine is ever running right. Anyway. Do you want to terminate? Well, only if you close that window. I don't know what you're doing in that window. Yeah. But I mean, as long as the installer is going, yeah, just let it go and see what happens. Yeah. That's good. Somebody said it lies about just.
Stop this and restream install.
You could. I'd let it go and see what happens. You shouldn't take 28 hours. 10 minutes sounds more believable. This is the Microsoft system for estimating how long something will take is famously ridiculous. It looks like the Apple one is not much better. Anyway, while this is going on, let me check my instructions. I'll go here, module 3 and 4. All right, so all we're going to do is get it going here. We're going to import the data. So I log into Splunk Web. With me, it's going to be student and password, I think. And then we're going to create a user. Okay, so let's see if this thing is done installing yet. Still at it. All right, like I say, it runs kind of slow on Windows, but that's what most people use. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, this is back to just logistics stuff.
Yeah.
There are times to meet with you,
Yeah.
office hours and stuff.
Yeah.
That's done over Zoom mostly?
The best thing is start on Twitch. I'm lecturing on Twitch, and then I'm open Zoom if anybody wants it.
Well,
But
I
Zoom
meant
is-
like outside of the actual class duration. Is there office hours time?
No, I use the second half of every class as an office hour.
Oh, I see.
So my classes are 3 hours long, but I only need an hour and a half to cover the material, and the second hour and a half is just answering questions.
So the idea is that once we get through this,
Yeah.
between like 1 and 2,
Yeah,
2:30 or whatever,
Yeah.
that you will just be here for us to bother you.
exactly.
Got it.
Second half of this class will be also just for help, but this class is only 6 weeks, so I don't advertise it because the Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday is the whole semester.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll be available. And within a couple of weeks, I'll also be teaching a class on Tuesday, but that class doesn't start for like another 2 weeks. So
That's the artificial intelligence class?
no, it's assembly language programming. Like I say, neither of the colleges I teach at has yet given me an official AI class to teach, so I'm teaching at conferences and all over the place. But both of them, their bureaucracy is too slow to approve the class, which is pretty rude. I just added it to 124, though. The advanced hackers are going to be doing it, but And I might add some extra credit to some of my other courses, but not this one. This one is pretty self-contained.
I have a great slide deck to share with you that a Google engineer created. It's basically a 2-hour slide deck, and he has this little intro, and he's like, if you're going to read this, just do this.
Good. That's good. I like to see it.
And he talks all about the concepts of neural nets.
Yeah.
And it's really great. Sure,
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And I know I do some of the Google certifications. It's part of my AI course because Google has a bunch of free search in AI, and they're good. I'm looking here. Okay, nothing new. Okay. Good. Let me clear out some of these extra tabs just to try to be a little less confusing here.
And you said everything that's on your website we can just play around with, right?
Oh yeah, all my old classes are there for the last 20 years. A lot of people are using them. People are using this stuff inside companies too. My malware analysis class, I know some corporations use it inside their company to train their staff. That's fine. It's all available to everybody.
Bless you.
Yep. Well, I always have this feeling it's going to take forever and I get frustrated, but it does finish. It requires a little bit of patience.
I've had a lot of problems with the network this semester. I mean, I know we're...
But this is not the network. It's already downloaded it. This is just
okay.
installing, but even
Right.
installing, it does have mysterious pauses. I remember every semester I get nervous and think it's failing, but it's not failing, I think. I think it's just taking the expected amount of time. Yep. Now, one thing about Windows is it very often is busy doing garbage, wasting time, like Windows updates or something. But I had this machine recently, so hopefully it's not doing that. Yeah, the anti-malware service executable is upset. Python, that's probably Splunk installing. There's Splunk D. Good, that's the Splunk daemon we want.
What is Firefox doing?
I don't see Firefox in the top stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm running Firefox browser. Yep, it's not doing much. The anti-malware service executable is what's doing a lot. Probably scanning every file that the Splunk installer is creating to see if it's malicious. That's probably what's slowing it down. It's usually security that makes trouble.
It's pretty cool. I haven't used Windows in such a long time. I didn't realize the task manager could be set to look at the resources in real time like this.
It's improved a lot in recent versions,
look
yeah.
at that. That's pretty cool.
That's Mark Rusinovich. Mark Rusinovich is a guy that made a company called SysInternals, and he understands the internals of Windows better than most people at Microsoft. So he would send all these bug reports for like Windows NT, and he was like 17, and then they'd fix them, so he'd send them more. He kept sending them more, and he wrote all these fantastic tools to monitor everything in Windows. So he offered to clean malware off anybody's machine anytime for free, because it's him, it's obvious. And he found the Sony rootkit. About 15 years ago, Sony sold music on CDs, and they wanted to make sure you couldn't copy them. So they put a rootkit in their software that would indelibly mark your machine, so if you tried to move that song to another machine, it wouldn't play. And that was a terrible idea, because it subverts the security of Windows at a fundamental level. They basically break your Windows. And he's the one that realized that's what it was doing. So he got them in trouble. They were sued. They had to quit and apologize and pay a fine and everything, because he was the only guy on earth that could immediately tell that's a rootkit by the way it installed. And anyway, since Microsoft couldn't shut him up, they bought his company and all the tools, and they're building them into Windows. And they are fantastic. And if you take the malware analysis course that I'm teaching this semester, it's mostly using SysInternals tools to analyze what malware does. Because the stuff Mark Rusinovich wrote is so good, you can see just what's happening inside Windows easily. And he is a hilarious guy. He's very good looking. His wife is beautiful. He writes spy novels. He lives the life of James Bond. He writes spy novels where this hero goes into companies and cleans out their malware and saves the world. And he has a sports car. He lives that life. He's now in charge of Azure at Microsoft. And he writes books on Windows internals. He's a very funny guy, but he really is one of the world's experts. So here we are. When you're done, it opens a web page, and you see it's just opening a local server, 127.0.0.1 on port 8000. That's the Splunk software. And I told it I was logging a student and password. And I'll save that, I guess. And it's thinking about letting me in. Okay. Okay. There, I'm getting in. Like I say, it runs kind of slow on Windows. If you put it on Linux, okay, here we are. This is the glorious home page, and there's some kind of help message. I don't care about that. All right. So what we want to do first is add data. And so if I go down here, once you've got your Splunk running, you log in. Now, first they want me to create a user with the power role. Okay. So it's settings, users, new user. Okay. Settings is here, and in the users section, users, and then I should be able to zoom in on this, and new user.
What is VM Fusion? VMware Fusion?
That is I'm using that to run a virtual machine on Mac.
Right. Okay.
That's what's making it possible for me to run.
Machineware Fusion, I'm sure.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm running Windows in that on my Mac.
Yeah.
That's part of why things are a little slow. So here's the users, and here's my default user. Now I'm going to make a new user. All right, and they wanted me to use a certain name and password here, which was uname and this Splunk bcup password. Okay, so I'll copy that. Okay, so it's uname and that password. Control V. Okay, there it goes. Whoa, I've done it twice. Control A, Control V. Okay, Control V. A little bit slow. Okay, fair enough. And I think I don't need to change anything else. All right. So assign roles. Okay, I need to assign roles here.
It said power, I think.
Yeah, I think I want power. So remove user and put in power. Right. So I remove user, remove all, and then set power. Okay. And I think that's it, but let's see. Yep, now I'm ready to save. Okay. So save. There we go. And so now there's a second user here, uname. Student is my administrator account, and uname is my non-administrator account. All right. Now we're going to download data files. This is the data file. There it comes. It's not very big. Yeah,
In terms of just a hierarchy
Yeah.
of understanding of what permissions they have,
Mhm.
assuming admin can just do everything.
Yeah, they can stop the server,
add whatever.
add modules, add or delete data, and all that.
Power users are more like just looking at logs and running reports and things
Yeah, I
like
forget
that.
exactly what power users can do, but a normal user can only look at logs. They can't add new sources or remove sources or anything like that,
Is
or
there-
create new users.
There's documentation, I'm sure, that
Yeah.
Splunk has that it specifically
Yeah.
outlines these roles.
Yeah, yeah, those slides have some information, I forget. Yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, so now there's three things in here. If I unzip this file, if I right-click and unzip, right-click, extract all, extract, this gives me three log files to just sort of show you the common types. All right, so I get a folder, and in that folder there is a database server, a Linux server, and a web access log. So those are just three common data types you might use. And we're going to import all of them into Splunk. So we're going to ingest the web data, which is add data, upload, access 30-day log. So it is, I'll go here, home. The Splunk there will take you to the home page. And then it's add data. And it's upload here. Let's skip the tutorial. Okay, upload. All right, and what I'm going to upload is access 30-day log, and it will detect the type easily. So, okay, it's ready. When this loads. All right, select source, select file. Okay, it's in my downloads folder. And in here, the access 30-day log, 30 days of like web access data. So there it goes, analyzing it. And generating something. It's figuring out what type of data it is and figuring out what fields are in there, like IP address and time and URL and stuff like that.
Is all the data that's being, I mean, are the file formats generally supposed to be some sort of a database file format? So you
Yeah.
could technically drop a SQL file in here.
Yep, you probably could. These are CSVs, but I think, yeah, they, in principle, it could, I think, take pretty much anything.
What about an Excel file? Would it do an Excel file?
Probably. I haven't tried. If not, I'm sure there's a free product to convert it. You can, but yeah, probably.
That goes back to that business intelligence functionality you were talking about before.
Yeah, and like I say, this is a popular product with a lot of contributors. So people have written all kinds of additional software to solve every little problem like that.
Yeah.
So it's chewing on it. Let me just check what I do next. It should automatically detect it. It should suggest that it is an access control combined with a cookie, which is what it is. So I just do next and enter web application as the host field. So I'm going to do that. Let's see if it's moved yet. Still thinking about it. Like I say, it runs pretty slow on Windows.
Where can I get the data to upload?
You go to the module 3 or 4 project. So go to the home page for the class. Yeah, go down to the projects, down. Went past it, go back up there, that one. That's where all the instructions are and the links for everything. Good. All right, and looks like, did it finally move?
Here's says done.
Okay, good. Then, well, it says done, but it should show me more than, oh, I guess I have to go next. Okay.
Hey Sam, for your malware course, is that the full semester or is that just
Yeah.
also a few weeks?
It's the full semester, yeah.
Is it, how many units is it?
3 units. So now here we are, and see, it detected access combined with cookie, so it correctly identified it, so I can just go next. here would be an opportunity to customize the import, but it's a standard file, so I don't have to,
Why would you want to customize the import?
because it's something unusual. It's
Okay.
not a standard
What would be
file.
an example?
If you wrote your own application that made your own logs,
Okay.
and it wasn't a commercial application, then they wouldn't know what it is.
Got
So
it.
you'd have to tell it, this field is the name, this field is the user, or whatever
So
it
you're
is.
basically letting it understand how you've specifically broken up your particular piece.
Yeah,
of data.
if you don't tell it that, it won't be able to search by those fields.
Right.
You want to be able to search by IP and date and user and whatever else you have. And if you don't tell Splunk what they mean and what the right name for them is, then you're only going to be able to do like a grep search where you look for a
Right.
word anywhere.
One thing.
I mean, that's why you want to import it so it understands. All right, and so here I get to put the host field. I think that's where I'm supposed to put this name as the host field. Yes, we web application, okay. So Control A, Control V, there we are, web application, okay. And then I think I don't change anything else. It's just review, submit, okay. So review, submit. All right, now it's uploading the file and adding it to my database. And it shouldn't take long because these files are pretty small. They have like 1,000 records each or something.
Is there an upper limit?
As far as I can tell, no. The only thing I did hit is it doesn't like data more than 5 years old. I had real trouble making my cloud server run when the data got that old, and the only solution I found was to make a cron job. Every time it boots up, it resets the clock, so now my server time is years old. That was how I fooled it.
So is it just the having to do with the timestamp that it doesn't like?
Yeah, and I found some time limits in the software, and I tried to update them, but I couldn't find the right one, so I got frustrated and just used my sleazy solution.
Huh.
My server just thinks it's like 2018 or something.
That's strange.
Well, I'm sure there's some way, but the fact is, in real world, you wouldn't normally want to look at data 5
Right,
years old.
Data
Yeah.
that old is
Yeah,
like
just because.
an archaeological.
Yeah, yeah,
find.
exactly. Just like cops don't research cases that old either. Usually,
Not
whatever.
unless there's some hot podcast that's
Yeah.
true criming the story.
Yeah, whatever you want to do with the data, it's usually been done by that time, or whatever harm has been done has been done.
Is this what we're supposed to be doing right here?
Yeah, that's right. You've got it going. You should have had your data imported. Yeah. And if you go to the search homepage, you'll see. Yep, looks like you're ahead of me. Mine's taking forever for some reason. Anyway, after this, I want to import the next one, which is Linux 30-day log.
So we're going through and importing every single one of these database files.
Yeah, 3 files. Yeah. So, and I don't know. Like I say, Windows gets kind of frustrating. But anyway. Yeah, I may not keep doing it live. So what you do, you import all 3 of these, and then when you go to the home page, you'll be able to get a data summary, and it will show you how many records there were in each one. 63,000 in this one, 130,000. And so I won't keep doing it live because this is taking too long. But the point is, when you're done, you get the data summary from the home page. And, good. Now it's finally done with that. So let me show you how you import 2 more the same way by following the steps.
Yeah.
And then you go home here. This will take you to the home page, clicking Splunk.
Just like everyone. Well,
Yep,
should.
yep, just,
Should.
yep. And then when you're there, okay, it'll take you go to search and reporting, where we're going to spend almost all the time in this course. And yep, this is why I don't.
These are the default functionalities that comes through it, but that app icon would add all those other little bells and whistles you mentioned.
You can add all kinds of extras, but this is the base functionality, which is all we're going to use. And okay, now I skip this, and now what will happen is it will open a page down here showing the data you have, or it should.
You need to create a table view.
No, I shouldn't have to. It should be right there. And he got it there. It may be that my machine is just too slow, but what will happen is it'll have a box there, and I'll show it to you on another one in just a minute, and where else the sock, where you can just do a summary of your data, which shows what data is available, and that's what you use. So when you're done with your project, you'll have a box here. This is how you turn in your project. You get a green frame. This is the flag. Whatever number hidden behind there is your flag to prove that you did it. And all you do is save a screen image and upload it into Canvas. So let me show you that. you'll get this page. You'll know the secret word hidden behind the green box. So then you go to Canvas, which is up here. There we are. Okay, and you go to Assignments. And there's quizzes, and there's Mod 3 to 4. So you go here, and you start the assignment, and you just upload the screen image, and you type the flag value into here, which is going to be that number, and then submit it. And if you get the right number, we know you did it. One mistake students often do is upload the data twice, and then the number is twice too big. We'll let you know if it's wrong. But that proves that you successfully installed Splunk and imported this data, and all you're going to do is do queries on this data for the rest of the course for that stuff.
And
Yeah.
all of that is detailed in that assignment page that you've been working off of.
Exactly. This page here tells you what to do, and when you're done, you get this, and you save a screen image and turn it in Canvas.
Great.
Yeah, good. So that's what I wanted to show you about the first Splunk project, and we got time. This is good because I want to show you the alternative, Boss of the SOC, which is a lot more fun. So let me check for comments in the Twitch, and there's no new one, so I'm going to stop this recording.